the black hole has sucked it up. I can't find it, but if I remember, somewhere around 65 feet on each way of the dipole. And then from there, I run out to a couple of wooden poles that are about 400 feet away. Wooden poles are only 25 feet high, but between the end of the dipole and the wooden poles, I have a run of silly strand. So I've got about 350 or maybe almost 400 feet of silly strand from the end of the dipole to the wooden pole that's 25 feet high. So, and I have it stretched tight, so there's very little sag, because the silly strand is lightweight enough that you can pull nearly all the sag out of it and still, be well below the breaking strength of the silly strand. So I have it pulled tight, very little sag. So the end of the 80-meter dipole actually droop about 20 feet below the center. So the center of it's 119 feet high, and the ends droop down to about 100 feet. It makes the overall average about 110 feet high. But anyway, when I used the dipole, I was very careful that each leg was exactly the same length, and that the droop off the tower is the same angle, and I did everything that I possibly could to make sure this thing was as symmetrical as I could make it. And so when I feed the dipole, I can feed a kilowatt of carrier to the dipole, and I don't get any RF on the tower. Even though if I unground the tower, the tower is 127 feet tall, and and it's floating free. When if I don't ground it, it's floating, and then I have a half wavelength of resonant half wavelength tower that's right in the vicinity of the dipole, and there's no RF on it. I have it. It's so well balanced that it's not enough RF at the base of the tower. I can even light up a neon light or get any RF burn off of it or anything. It seems to be completely devoid of RF, and I hooked up with. I had an SWR meter on it where I got the SWR down to 1-to-1, where it was zero reflected power, and I could ground or unground the tower. Let the tower float free, or I could ground it, and I think it made cause the reflective power meter to twitch about the width of the needle, the meter pointer. Very, very, almost no change in reflected power whatsoever. So that tells me that the dipole is very well insulated from the tower just because of the symmetry of it. But of course, it doesn't work that way the other way around, since the unbalanced vertical, and then the dipole is acting like soft topping, top loading. But when I use the dipole, the vertical the vertical tower has no effect on it. Whether it's the bottom end is grounded or the bottom end is floating, and there's not enough RF on it to light up a neon light. K4KYV. Yeah, K4KYV. What you say is true about the open wire line going up to the tower. But what I was thinking is that if I didn't have the dipole perfectly symmetrical, there would be some unbalance. There would be some unbalance in the dipole itself, and that would carry over to the. It would carry over. There'd be some common mode that would be coupled into the tower. But as it is, with the dipole being almost perfectly symmetrical with the tower, that not only does each conductor of the open wire line balance, but also the radiation from the ends of the dipole. That each leg of the dipole is has exactly equal and opposite coupling to the tower, so that it's also balanced the dipole itself as well as the open wire line. So by completely making it completely symmetrical, there's no coupling. If on the other hand, if I had an inverted L, say an inverted L or an infed Z or something, I think there'd be a lot of coupling to the tower just because, there would be so much unbalance. Well, anyway, we'll catch you later on, and good signaling here tonight. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I checked the lightning storm map before it came out here, and it said there were two, what they call events. There were two events in all of North America. And I looked at the map, and they're just a couple of small splotches on the Pacific coast of Mexico, about halfway down the Baja Peninsula on the west side. There's a little thunderstorm down there, and I think that's the only thunderstorm in all of North America. So we have a combination of no static, and this being the longest night of the year, and then, of course, whatever ionospheric propagation is giving us tonight. You mentioned that kind of weird long and short skipped at the same time. And, so this is an interesting night to play radio. Anyway, Chuck, we'll catch you later. K1KW, K4KYV.
My answer always is K4KYV.
K4KYV, and there was one other thing I was going to say, and now I kind of forgot about it, but I don't remember what it was now. Oh yeah, we talked about 160, about the peculiarities of this band. If you think about it, that 160 is a unique part of the spectrum because this is almost like at a crossroads because you go below in frequency, go down into the through the broadcast band down below that. Of course, ground wave propagation it gets better, and and then but you know, as you go up above this band, you know, the ground wave propagation becomes poor, but yet skywave propagation, you know, you get much better skywave propagation, like on 75 for the same, you know, from point A to point B. You usually have a stronger signal on 75 than you would on 160. So as you go above this frequency, it seems that one mode of propagation dominates, but then as you go down below this frequency, other modes predominate. So this is right at a crossroads between, you know, like long wave and VLF type of propagation, whereas above this frequency, you know, you get into, you know, like ionospheric HF type of propagation. But right here, this is right at a, you know, it's kind of at a crossover point. So this band is unique in that way.
That's why they call this medium wave.
You know, it has some characteristics that you don't really see in on either one that you wouldn't see in you know, down below the broadcast band, or that you wouldn't see say on 4 megacycles and above. So that makes it, you know, that makes it all the more an interesting part of the spectrum. Anyway, we'll catch you later. K1 KW, K4 KYV.
Okay, yeah. One thing I would comment on that is that the ground wave portion of the enhanced propagation here in 160 is kind of useless. You know, if you're talking about more than 20 or 30 miles away. Well, the energy angle, typically not useful.
intolerable situations that you can't tolerate much longer. I know very well what you're talking about. Yeah, I guess a ground wave would be a good example. You know, like the broadcast band, like the bottom end of the broadcast band, you get tremendous coverage. You know, daytime or especially coverage by ground wave. It's the bottom end of the broadcast band. But you get up here on this end, you know, like even you know, 1600 or the newly expanded part of the AM band, the ground wave coverage is so poor. That's why, you know, you can run a 50,000 watt broadcast station at 1600 probably wouldn't have the coverage of a 250 watt station at 540. You know, just that difference. So you know, it kind of fizzles out as you get up in these frequencies. The ground wave propagation fizzles out, but then the skywave propagation begins to take off. So, you know, you go up, say, on 80 or 40 meters, the skywave propagation is much better than it is on here. You know, the higher you go, you know, until you hit the MUF, the higher you go, the better the signal. So this is right at a crossroads. You know, if you're talking about skywave type of propagation, you go below this band, you know, it gets pretty, you know, becomes pretty spotty. But then you think about ground wave propagation, you come up to this frequency and it's pretty spotty, but you go down below and it gets better. So it's kind of interesting. propagation kind of pass over right here. And I think you're right. You know, if there was some way to build a vertical antenna like what I have here, but that wouldn't have these, where you could cancel out the ground wave, but you get the sky wave, the same sky wave that it has now, but you just wouldn't be wasting all that power in ground wave. That would probably give you, at least another 3 or 4 dBs of signal. Anyway, we'll carry on another time. So take care and go ahead and play or go to bed early, get up early. And I haven't had to do that now for about 9 years. So that's all. K4KYV clear. Sometime, because Timmy's been, hanging out around 72, 75, and I heard him the other day, and he was strapping in here quite strongly, and I think I've heard you also coming in quite well in daytime on 40, so Timmy said he'd probably be, listening around towards the middle of the day, or somewhere around that frequency, so I've been kind of keeping an ear out. I haven't really heard anything the last few days, but if you feel like getting on there sometime, please do. We could probably make a pretty good go at it. Anyway, I'm gone. K4KYV.